I'm John's Precision Plumbing. I've been plumbing since 1996. I've been working with John Webb Construction. He's got a good group of people. He's got the same people around 95% of the time. It's kind of camaraderie, a lot of fun. From my aspect for plumbing, it's actually a good design for the purpose of the fixtures in the bathroom stacking over each other. It's got a good friendly layout. You can come in from one room, you've got your utility area, completely separate from the living area. Then you've got your kitchen area. You can head upstairs and you've got an entertaining area with the bar sink and whatnot. Recirc's really cool. He's got a hot water recirc system as well as a boiler system, which is very efficient. Framing's interesting. There's a lot of wood, a lot of distance to get to. And generally, a lot of times you can go through in a few little spots and make it pretty simple and consistent. But on these, every one's unique. Every time he builds a house, you don't just go to the standard, what you think you're going to be doing. You go in there and you got to kind of create things and think outside of the box. So, which is cool. John's very creative like that, though. Kind of reinventing the wheel sometimes. And that's funny because at the end, like years in the past, I'd never seen people come through and like take 8-foot levels and plane the whole wall and then put staple plywood on. And I mean, smooth plaster wall. He wanted it perfectly smooth. You know, that was back when Dale was in this, probably 15 years ago, and every stud, every frame you remember was you had to take it, put it this way, and it couldn't rock back and forth. It had to be perfectly level this way. And I remember Dale he was wound up one day because he spent about 3 days doing that shit, just stapling plywood or stapling cardboard to walls. And sometimes it'd only start here, it'd go up 4 foot, sometimes it'd be 6 foot. But he wanted it. He wanted a good product. That was the bottom line, no matter what. It wasn't a recall. He just wanted to turn a good product. A lot of people are more production driven. And it's not that you just stop working here, but you don't have to be production driven. It's more important to do a cost effective job, but turn the best product you can. And it's funny because like some of the jobs I come off of recently, it's the exact opposite. They just want the plumber in 8 hours, they want the electrician in 8 hours, and they want to sell the house in 16 hours. Yeah. You know? So, and there's money in that. I'm sure there is. But there's a lot more callbacks too. Yeah. A lot more issues to deal with that are after the 365 days. Yeah. It's like this one, these type of slabs are really cool, unique. I'd never seen them, you know, when I first started working with him. I'd bet it's probably more like 18 years ago back when I first worked with him. And the whole concept of the post-tension slab and the stretching it tight, everything, when we actually plumb this thing, there's a whole bunch of cables, and we have to design this plumbing system so that all the pipes that come through the floor, when he stretches those cables, all that stuff stays where it belongs. And it has to be just right and perfect. And like when Dale and I laid this out, there was issues where these cables were interfering. Well, here's one right here. And so we took the time of moving them to let the plumbing be good and not be damaged 10 years later, where the other guy just grabbed the cable and stretched it. And it may be 5 years before it shifted. But those were the things that were much more important. And the most builders would be like, don't worry about it. Yeah. And you're overthinking it. You know, so that part I enjoy, the fact that willing to go the extra to give the most. That part I really like.